What do Andrew Tate, Coca-Cola and the governments of the world all have in common? They all use a secret set of psychological techniques to brainwash people into doing what they want them to do, whether it's adopting their worldview, buying their products, or following their rules. But what most people don't realise is that we can use these very same techniques to brainwash ourselves into success, find the hard work fun and pleasurable, and even to destroy any urges or impulses for the bad habits that we know hold us back. For years, these techniques have been hidden away only to be used by these rich, powerful, exclusive groups. But in this video, I'm going to lay out for you in simple English the foolproof formula to finally getting your mind under your own spell. Once you understand this 3-step model, it will almost seem too simple, but this really is all you need. And even if you just watch this video through all the way to the end one time, you'll already be ahead of 90% of the other people who just, clicked on the video for the mindless consumption. The only thing that would stop this from transforming your life is if you clicked off now and kept scrolling. Don't do that to yourself. In my own life, I've used this brainwashing technique to trick myself into actually finding studying fun, which has allowed me to go from getting average grades at school to now being on track to get 5 A stars at A level and attend a top 10 UK university next year. I've gone from being, that awkward, skinny, fat, unathletic kid to tricking my brain into not skipping a workout for 9 months. This isn't really to flex because it's not much of a flex anyway, but it's just to show you how powerful this formula really can be when you use it in the right way. Sound good? Let's do it. So in 2012, the UK had a problem. The youth smoking rates were increasing to a worrying level. It was becoming seen as this cool rebellious thing in popular culture, and the rates were climbing to the point where in 2012, out of all the 18 to 24 year olds in the UK, 25% of them smoked. But then fast forward to 2022 and the smoking rates fell to 11%. 11%, that's more than half the rate that it was in just 10 years. The threat was over. But how did you do this? How do governments around the world manage to promote behaviour change on such a large scale when most people on their own struggle to quit smoking? And how can we use these same principles to change our own behaviour for the better? They use a concept known as the triadic model of attitudes. Your attitude is how you feel about something. It's your relationship with something. And by changing your attitude towards something, you can transform how you behave with it. So the anti-smoking campaigns were done in a certain way so that they changed people's attitudes to smoking to the point where they didn't even want to do it anymore. It wasn't even difficult to resist it. For example, for you probably don't find it difficult to resist doing crack cocaine. You don't even feel a pull to that. You don't find it difficult to resist doing homework. It's not like you want to do it. And when you transform your attitude, that's how you can behave with the bad habits. And even to be excited and find pleasure in the hard work that we know makes our life better. So how can we do this? Well, the triadic model of attitudes says that an attitude is made up of 3 components. And if you manage to change each of these 3, you can transform your attitude and change your life for the better. Let's get into it. The first component is cognition. The cognitive component. This is your thoughts, the facts you know about something, your beliefs basically. I mean, it's the first step to behavior change. It's kind of obvious. You have to know what to change and you have to know why to change it. You need to have your own beliefs challenged and then you need to question your own beliefs too. For example, I used to have this belief that it didn't matter how much you studied. Like getting a grade was only dependent on how smart you were genetically or whatever. And you can try all you want, but you're just coping. The smart kids will always get good grades, the dumb kids will always get bad grades. And so in my Spanish class, I was sat next to this guy who supposedly was a bit dumber than me. I was kind of average, I wasn't getting the top grades, but I wasn't right at the bottom. But this guy, he was it boosted my ego. He'd usually be the guy getting less score than me, he'd be asking me how to do certain things, until one day, he wasn't. We got our test results back. I got 70% or something, and this guy got 95%. And he was so gassed, but I was here saying what the hell? How did you do that? I asked him how he did that, and he's like, bro, I sat down, I was studying for 2 weeks in advance, preparing for an hour a day, and that moment broke something in me. It broke the limiting belief that studying doesn't affect your grade, because I had living, breathing proof right in front of me that it obviously does. And now obviously, for some of you this might seem kind of obvious, if you study, you improve. But at that point, genuinely, I just didn't believe it. But after this moment, I realised the importance of studying. This broke my limiting belief, and then I actually started to take it serious, and I actually started to see progress. But the thing is, it's difficult to question your own limiting beliefs, because usually you don't even realise you have them. You sort of accept them as a fact. I didn't even consider the fact that I need to challenge it. And this is why education is so important. But not just education in school, not learning the fucking Pythagoras theorem or whatever. An example is when I was getting into this self-improvement space, I heard a lot of people talk about the book Why We Sleep. But for some reason I just never went and read it. And it's because I saw in some comments or some review, somebody said This book doesn't tell you what to do. They said that it only showed you like how sleep works and the benefits of it, but it never showed you how to actually improve it. So I thought, why the hell would I read that book? I know sleep is kind of important. I know I should probably sleep a bit more. So if this isn't going to tell me step by step how to get better, what's the point? So one day I sat down and read it, and as I went through it, gradually it transformed my attitude, because I'm reading this and I'm reading the facts and I'm like, oh shit, sleep doesn't just make you a bit cranky or irritable. Sleep actually helps you ward off cancer. Literally, sleep helps you get slimmer and build more muscle. Sleep improves your mental and physical performance. Sleep makes you more attractive. All these things. And this was attacking this first component of your attitude, your cognition. My belief was getting broken gradually, step by step. This book actually improved my sleep more than any like top 10 list life hack sleep optimization, because it transformed my attitude by targeting the cognitive component. So the moral of the story, educate from a wide variety of sources, not just one person. Don't just become like a cult member. We have access to so many fucking world leading expert scientists in any area through podcasts, books, in fucking YouTube videos. And then try to talk to people who challenge your beliefs. Don't talk to people who all have the same worldview. Try and like listen to people who might just help you break down a limiting belief and change your attitude. So that's the first component. And the second one is the affective component. So affect, anytime in science or psychology you hear the word affect, basically they're talking about mood. This concerns your feelings, your emotions, your opinions about a certain object. Most people stop after the first step. They stop at cognition. This is probably where you're at. You know something's good for you. You know like studying would help or exercising would help, but you just can't really get yourself to do it. You don't want to. And this is why this is not a logical problem. You can read all the statistics about how exercise can help you, but if you just don't want to do it, then you're not going to go do it. It's not a logical problem. It's an emotional one. So we have to target the second component and break down your emotions around it. Try and figure out what is the emotion that's holding you back. It could be fear, uncertainty, anxiety, embarrassment. Maybe for the gym, you don't want to work out because you think you'll look stupid because you don't know what you're doing. Or maybe it's fear of like that pain in your muscles that you're going to feel. And so you can try and address this, you can try to think of different solutions. But I found there are three main techniques that help me the most. The first is negative reassociation. I've spoken about this in a lot more detail in other videos, but basically just to sum it up, this is the technique of associating the task with the emotions you get when you think about your long-term goals. So right now, just sit down and close your eyes with me, okay? I'll do it with you. It's gonna be fucking weird if you're just staring at me with my eyes closed. So close your eyes and do it with me. Close them and just imagine your future life. Imagine yourself with like your perfect body. You've had like your body transformation. Imagine yourself getting the perfect grades and you walk back to your parents and you're showing them like the piece of paper. We've got straight A stars. Everyone's happy. Your mum's fucking crying in the corner. Picture yourself getting your dream job. How like you wake up every day excited to go and do stuff that's meaningful to you. When you thought about that, bro, you've probably got like a rush of excitement. You felt happy, you felt motivated when you thought about that. Now identify exactly how this task that you're struggling to do will help you get there. Sitting down right now and studying from a biology test will help me get to that end result, because it will help me get a good score on these exams, it will help me improve my knowledge, help me get into the school, whatever. And then every time you kind of struggle to get yourself to do something, just bring this emotion, bring this feeling, this image, this mental movie to the top of your mind, and you'll feel those feelings again. If I'm struggling to study, I'll imagine how good it'll feel when I get that grade, when I get my dream job at university or whatever. And then gradually over time, as you keep doing this, soon your brain starts to associate doing the task with the emotion itself, and now you actually enjoy doing it. Then you can even do this with bad habits. Identify exactly how X will stop me doing Y because Z. Scrolling on social media all day will stop me getting my dream physique, will stop me building my dream life, because it wastes so much time, it damages my mental health, whatever. Now the second technique I like to use is to find role models. People who you want to be like, who are doing the thing you want to do. So before, bro, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of always enjoyed going to the gym. At least when I first found out about it, once I started going, it became a fun thing. Because when I went, I'd think about like, you know, like Hamza, or like influencers or athletes with like the perfect body, like look so sick in there doing their workouts. And I'm just thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna be like that. I was trying to imagine like I was them when I'm in the gym. But then something that I'd never had this with was running. You know, like cardio, something like that. Because here I picture like all these cool, sick guys with the perfect physique. What about running? What do you think when you think about running? I thought about like these skinny, weird kind of like nerds, right? Obviously this isn't true, but this is what I thought. Like they have like the weird running shoes and like the sunglasses and whatever. They look kind of goofy. And now obviously I didn't want to be like that, right? And this created a negative association. For some reason, obviously I didn't consciously think this, but in the back of my mind I thought, oh, if I go out for a run, then I'm going to be closer to these people than the first people. All of this changed when one day I was scrolling on Instagram and I found this whole subculture of hybrid athletes. These are people who are like jacks, bro. They're fucking ripped, but they run too. They've got like colourful running shoes and they're like huge. They've got perfect physiques and they made running look so cool. It was like this cool thing that now I wanted to do. I wanted to be like them. And from then on, I never had a problem getting myself to go for a run. Because when I was running, in the back of my mind, I'd imagine I'm like this person that I saw on Instagram. I'm getting closer to them. So whatever it is you're struggling to do, maybe if you're studying, maybe in the back of your mind, you have like this emotion saying like, oh, this is so boring. I don't want to do this. Try find a role model. Find like these fucking student influencers, whatever. Find role models who you want to be like, who are doing the thing you're struggling to do. And it will just start to change those emotions around the task. Step 3, make it fun. And the biggest thing that helped me transform my attitude with exercise, with studying, with eating healthy, is to make it like a video game. I tracked everything I possibly could, every metric, and then I just tried to level up. For example, with studying, right now, if you just think of studying in general, it's like this big scary thing. I have to revise biology because I have a biology exam. Just one big thing, one big scary term, and I just don't want to really do that. I get that fear, uncertainty, that bit of anxiety anytime I think about it. So what I did was gradually break it down. You know, you might have like different topics. Well, instead of topic 1, 2, and 3, now this is level 1, level 2, level 3. But when I'm on level 1, before I'm like learning the ropes, I'm like doing the tutorial, figuring out the controls. That's when I'm like reading the book, reading the textbook. So I might like read it and cover up with my hand, try and remember what I just read. This preparing myself. And then at the end of each level, there's the battle, there's the boss fight. This one I do past paper exam question. This one I test myself and I finally put all the knowledge that I've had into use. Time myself, I try and record my score. And then every time I get onto level 2 or topic 2, I try and increase my score, again, even better score. I try and learn everything in a shorter amount of time, but still maintain the quality. And this way, bro, it usually takes so long to actually see the results. To get the exam score, you might have to study for like weeks and months to finally get that A. But when you break it up like this, you give yourself short little dopamine boosts along the way. And you can see that progress and it becomes exciting. It becomes like a video game. For exercising, I use an app called Heavy. You can use Strong. Or for running, you can use Nike Run Club. And this tracks like however much you run for the running one, or like the weights you lift, how many reps, all of this. And every single time you can try and increase it. You can try and add one more set. You can try and add 5 kg. This is how you make your life into a video game. What gets tracked gets improved. So those are the first 2 components. Now it's the third, which is behavior. This is actually doing the fucking thing. This is influenced by the first 2 because in our mind we have something called cognitive dissonance. Basically, I just said like 2 weirdly sounding long words. It just means our mind doesn't like to contradict itself. So let's go back to the first one. If you know something is good for you, and then if you enjoy doing it, then your behavior will be to do it. You'll have a positive attitude. But then on the other side, if you know something's bad for you and you don't enjoy it, then your behavior will follow and you won't do the thing. It always likes to stay in line. So it's influenced by the other 2, but we can also actually just target the behavior itself. So for example, a few months ago, I was struggling to get myself to go to the gym consistently. But the weird thing is, bro, I knew it was good for me, so it's not the cognitive element. And I actually enjoyed going to the gym. You know, I've been doing it for a while now, and I'll be honest, bro, I always like going to the gym. Like, you know, when you get that pump, whatever, it feels kind of good after you've done it. But I still just couldn't get myself to go. I'd sit at home and I'm like, oh, I can't be asked. And it wasn't a problem with the effective. It was the behavior. I had to target the behavior itself. And there are 2 ways that I actually did this. The first is to reduce the barrier to entry. So let's be real, bro. Even if you knew like 100% how good exercising was for you, and you really, really liked it, like it was so fun, you enjoyed it so much, but you had to drive 8 hours to get to the gym, you probably wouldn't do it. So we have to try and do the opposite of this. We have to try and reduce the barrier to entry to make it easy as possible. So for me, I just couldn't be asked to go to the gym because I had to cycle there. It's like a 20-minute bike ride from my house. I'm like, oh, it's so long. So what I did instead is I'd go to the gym after school because the school is closer to my gym than from my house. You know, it's a shorter distance. Or I just dropped down and hit a few push-ups. That's better than nothing, and let's reduce that barrier to entry. For studying, a way I use it, a way you can use it, is literally get your book and open it on the page that you have to study next and just leave it on your desk. So then when your cognitive element is in line, when your affective is in line, when you've done the rest of this video, all you have to do is sit down and study. It literally couldn't be easier. And the second way is reinforcement. It's basically using reward to trick your mind into actually being addicted to something, to keep doing something. So I've heard before on the internet, you probably have as well, it's like, oh, you reward yourself, eat a little bit of chocolate after you study for 1 hour. But bro, if you're anything like me, if I already had a bit of chocolate, I would have already eaten it before I started studying, because I'm a fat shit. The way I finally broke out of this rut when I couldn't get myself to go to the gym is I used music as the reward. So basically before, bro, I used to love listening to music. I still do like listen to music, but before it used to be bad. Like bro, I'd listen to it everywhere. I'd wake up, I'd put my earbuds in when I'm taking a shit, when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm eating food, if I'm walking anywhere, always music, music, music. But when I was stuck in this rut, I made a promise to myself that from now on, I can only listen to music in the gym. And so now when I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I can't be asked to go to the gym. I know it's good for me. I actually enjoy it, but I just can't overcome that final hurdle. Now I have this extra bit of extrinsic motivation, this extra like carrot dangling in front of me to motivate myself to go and do it. Because now I know, okay, if I go there, I get that instant reward of listening to my favorite song. And then gradually over time, my mind will start to realize, okay, if I go to the gym, I get to listen to music, and listening to music makes me feel good. And then gradually it shortens that gap to the point where it says, okay, I go to the gym, I feel good. And it makes that association, and then you get addicted to the good habits. And you can think about different ways you can try and do this, different ways you can reward yourself. So that is a triadic model of attitudes. Change your beliefs, change your emotions, change your behavior, and you'll change your attitudes, which will transform your life. And bro, a bit of real talk here. It's actually a beautiful life when you can actually choose what you want to do instead of being like a slave to all these companies with their marketing teams and everything. They try and get you to do what they want for their profit. But when you can actually gain control over it, it's so sick because you can do what's actually meaningful to you. And bro, when you become like a mind hacker, you're ahead of like 99% of people our age. I mean, think about it right now. Think what all of the rest of your friends are doing. Think what they'd think about you, what your younger self would think about you right now when you're sitting here watching like a 15-20 minute long video on psychological theories of your mind, whilst they're all probably scrolling fucking TikTok. So if you watch this long, bro, I like you. You've obviously kind of interested in this. I want you around. When you can actually get control and you actually find enjoyment in the hard work, you're going to get so much further ahead of anyone else who just has to push through it because it's something they have to do. It's like that quote where, I don't know if I'll get it right, it's that the guy who enjoys walking will always walk further than the man who is going there for the destination. Probably butchered that, but you get the idea. So go comment right now about one example of how you're going to use this in your life. I love you, bro. Thanks for watching, and give me a fist bump. Bye.